right. Good morning, trader. It is Friday, March 26th. This is the morning brief. Thank you so much for tuning in. Taking a look here at the S&P futures. So yesterday had a beautiful, beautiful reversal. I just started calling this stuff out on Twitter. So if you follow me on Twitter, it's at the trade JRNLS. That is my handle. I'm starting to do some intraday callouts for stuff that's going on in the price action, that kind of stuff. And I was actually able to call this thing out right here. Once we retested this level, you'll see I posted a picture on there, and my target was just about, God, it was just about in that area. So follow me on Twitter, guys, if you use it. I will be doing some call outs, like I said, intraday on the price action. So if my bias happens to change or anything like that, I will post on Twitter and mention, hey, because yesterday, like I said, I was bearish, and we were bearish on the open, but that reversal set up pretty fast. So in any event, so you can see that we put in this V bottom, and then we traded back up into the overnight session. Basically, so we've got a double distribution right here in the overnight session, B-shaped volume profile, and I knew that once this lower distribution failed, then this whole double distribution was very suspect, and potentially would trade all the way back up to the overnight high. So that's why that's why I switched my bias, is because basically everybody that shorted in here as well as here was now trapped. They had to liquidate, and that gave us all that extra momentum to break to the upside. So yeah, the overnight session is largely balanced. You can see we've got a bit of a D-shaped volume profile. So we've got the point of control is more or less weighted to the low end of the range, but it really could go either way at this point. I know the Dow and the Russell are both grinding higher still, so we've got a little bit of momentum carrying us upwards. So what I'd really like to see, I'd like to see the point of control move up to here, and that would hopefully allow us to put in a bullish bias. As it stands right now, I'm pretty neutral. Um, with the way this is looking, I mean, you can clearly see this absorption right here with all these wicks that are setting up. We may need to come back down and retest, the POC, or retest the overnight high from night before last, before we can bounce and push higher. So it seems like it may need to correct a little bit, but like I said, right now I'm just kind of neutral. The indexes are not really trading together. If we take a look here, sorry, bear with me for just one moment. So the Russell 2000, as you can see, is grinding higher. It's pretty flat, I would say, but the point of control is weighted to the top of the range. And if we look at the NASDAQ over here, the NASDAQ is kind of just ranging, but we can see that it is setting up for a decent looking V bottom. So tech in this instance, like, albeit we are in a range, it seems like we should be probing for higher levels here in the next couple hours. So Nasdaq, I'm fairly bullish on, and then here's the Dow. You can see the Dow's grinding higher, just like the Russell is. So anyways, the indexes are all like a little bit mixed, like I said. So just like I said, I'm probably gonna be a little bit patient on the open. Also, one thing to note is that we did break out of balance. So we broke out of yesterday's high in the overnight session, and we are now trading back inside of it, which usually is not a good sign. So we'll need to see what happens, but right now I'm kind of neutral bearish on the S&P. Let's take a look at some stocks though here. I did find some pretty decent setups. Here we are. Okay, so this was not one of them. Let me bust out my notes. Okay, so the first that I saw was ATOS, and you can see that it's pretty much just consolidating, but it is seemingly putting in an inverse head and shoulders. So you can see we've got a shoulder, head, shoulder, and as long as this V bottom right here can continue, I would imagine that we should be able to see higher prices here. So let me zoom in just a little bit. So this is the V bottom that I'm talking about right here. Now, we'll want to pay attention to volume. Obviously, we have to see decent volume when this comes back in. Otherwise, we may not get decent continuation. But it seems like a pretty good long. You know, we're holding this pivot low, and we have a gap right here that's yet to be filled. So what I'd be looking for is for us to grind higher, fill this gap, and then potentially get back up to this $2.90 level right around here and see what happens. Um, yeah, it just depends, but this is looking like a fairly decent long entry here on ATOS. Next up, we have Riot, and again, very nice V bottom. So you can see the clear strength coming in here, and as far as targets go, I'd just be looking for us to grind higher, get up here to 55.79. That's going to be our first major resistance. Might need to pull back a little bit at that point, but then I'm really just looking for us to grind higher at that point. We've got a lot of headroom, so there's quite a bit of ways we could continue to gain. I haven't looked at Bitcoin yet this morning. Let's take a look here. So Bitcoin is starting to V bottom as well. We've got a trend line right here. And let's see. So this area right here, the people that shorted in this section, that's quite a bit of strength right there on that move. So it seems like the strength of this pullback was fairly aggressive. So it makes me wonder if these guys are defending their positions. In any event, though, I mean, I think Bitcoin could continue to grind higher here. Once it gets above that pivot high, I think it'll move up with pretty good strength. So if we can get above that, we're up in this low volume node right here. If you look on the volume profile, it's very, very, very thin. So once we get in that low volume node, I mean, it's on at that point. We may really take off. So we'll want to keep an eye on Bitcoin here. Like I said, because if it gets in that low volume node, things could really, really start moving again. So we'll just want to make sure we're holding this trend line. That's the most important thing. So, yeah, if you guys have any stocks or setups you'd like me to take a look at, please post it in the chat so we can all take a look together. Don't be shy. Like I said, you're helping out your fellow traders here by posing questions and whatnot. So, like I said, if you got anything you want us to check out, by all means, throw it in the chat. All right, well, we'll keep on moving here. I do have, let's see. So Walmart is setting up for a pretty nice breakout. So you can see that we've got this area of consolidation right here, and this is a very weak high. It's just been tested and tested and tested again and again. So I am looking for a break above this previous pivot high here, out of this kind of this, like I said, this range, this area of consolidation. And as far as targets goes, I need to zoom out so I can see what we have above us here. Okay, so wow, we have a very, very large unfilled gap way up here. CLNQGC, you got it. So right here, very large unfilled gap between about 140 and 145. So that would be a perfect target. So if you could get this breakout right here, hell, you could ride this thing up um, virtually all the way. And that's like a $15 move. Again, this is Walmart WMT. All right, so so we got CL, NQ, GC, and then INTC. All right, so the first three are futures symbols. So CL, if you're not familiar, those are the oil futures. And I was actually long biased yesterday because it looked like we were putting in a V bottom. This guy, we were right at this little shelf, like this area of consolidation, but we were not able to hold this lower trend line. I was expecting us to bounce and then continue higher, but you could see that we had a breakdown, and then we tested this pivot low again. So right now it's kind of just looking like a symmetrical triangle. And I mean, since the overall direction on this is bearish, usually pennants, flags, that kind of stuff, I typically expect them to continue in the direction of the overall trend. So on CL here, I'd probably be looking for us to test this upper trend line, and then continue lower here with a breakdown. oil got Oil was very, very, very strong, and then I think it just kind of got overbought. So it seems like it's coming more into its historical balance there. Okay, so let's take a look at NQ here. Let's try that again. All right, so here is NQ. And like I said, it was putting in a bit of a V bottom. You could see this very nice bullish pin bar right there. So I'm looking for us to grind higher and retest this level right around here. And potentially, I mean, if we can get a breakout, you can't really see the volume profile very well, but if we can get a breakout above this level, it's gonna take off, much like Bitcoin, that setup. So. All right, and then GC, these are the gold futures contract. And wow, this is really choppy. Okay, so gold is mostly in this downward channel. And I might need to zoom out just a smidge here. Oops, did not mean to do that. Sorry, guys. Trading views weird sometimes. All right, so a little bit of like a falling wedge kind of pattern. Um, Very, very choppy. I mean, I'm not really seeing any opportunities in here right off the bat, unless you're basically just gonna wait for it to come back up and then fade the top side and looking potentially for a continuation lower. Gold has fallen off quite a bit, and I don't know anything about the fundamentals right now. I know that inflation is rising, so to me, on a fundamentals basis, it doesn't make a ton of sense that gold is dropping so much. But yeah, it's been pretty bearish. So, all right, this is Intel here. INTC is the ticker. You can see we had a very strong sell-off yesterday, but we had this massive spike, and that was very rapidly sold down. That you can see this candle, it all took place within 1 hour. And then we're consolidating here on the low. We dropped just a smidge in pre-market. So this may be a bear flag. It's hard to say. If we can take out this pivot low, I would be expecting continuation lower with a possible retest of this level right here, 5786. So it just depends on what happens here in pre. I'd be looking at these two levels and kind of basing my bias on whichever breaks first. But I'd imagine, um, yeah, it's hard to say. Like I said, I'm neutral until one of those levels break. Cool. All right, so like I said, if you were not here before, I am starting to put in callouts on Twitter. So if you follow me on Twitter, my handle is at the trade JRNLS. Check this out. So yesterday, I just want to show you guys kind of like what I'm trying to accomplish here and what value it might bring you. So where is my profile? I'm very new to Twitter. Bear with me. Trade journals. I just want to show you guys this call out that I made because it was as perfect as can be. All right, so this was yesterday at 8:43 p.m. So I was calling out ES here, and I said that we were starting to V bottom just below the overnight low, and I was looking for a break higher and for us to retest the overnight high with possible continuation to the upside. And then look what happened. We'll zoom over, come over so it'll look. Oh, still U.S. still be richer than China? I'm skeptical. But yeah, anyway, so look at the comparison, what I called out versus what happened. Yeah, yeah. Anyways, so point case in point, follow me on Twitter, guys. So yeah, and speaking of which, as far as other platforms and stuff goes, I am streaming this stuff on YouTube as well. So I would really appreciate if you guys would follow me over there. You can actually see my full screen, and the mic's clearly going to be quite a bit better as well. So, all right, guys, we got 14 minutes till the open here. If anybody has anything else they'd like, checked out, by all means, throw it in the chat, and we'll take a look here. Um, do any of you guys have like what kind of positions do you have on right now? Like, are you guys trading mostly intraday, or are you doing swing trading or more investing? Like, how long are you typically holding? And there's a little bit of delay here, so I'll just kind of wait a sec here. All right. Well, in any event, guess people are still waking up, as am I. Um, so, like I said, my main setups for the day are these guys. So ATOS, like I said, we've got a very nice V bottom there. Riot blockchain, Veil swing. I'm not sure what you mean by veil, but gotcha, swing trading. So again, these are the stocks that I'm looking at today. So ATOS, we've got a very nice V bottom there, as well as on Riot and GME. Walmart was that really nice looking breakout with the possible gap fill. We didn't look at CVX and or Naked. Let's take a look at those really fast. So CVX, this is Chevron Corp, which is breaking out here. So you can see this is where we are opening at in pre-market. So I would essentially be looking for us to grind higher, and then potentially look at testing this pivot high up here again. That being said, though, oh, Veil, got it. That being said, though, with oil potentially looking bearish, it's hard to say what Chevron is going to do in response. So because this, of course, oil companies are going to be very subject to the oil futures. So it's hard to say, but as from a structural basis, yeah, I would say this looks good to the long side. And then NAKD. So this is Naked Brands, and you can see. Oh, see, that's what I said, that we would have a possible gap fill. It was looking kind of bullish here in the aftermarket, and it's already filled the gap. Um, so I'd be looking for us to come up, retest this trend line, and get a possible break here. So it just depends on whether or not it can sustain this momentum. But this particular price action down here, it looks like a reversal to me. So that's NAKD, Naked Brands. All right. And then last but not least, let's look at Veil here. Is that the right ticker? Let me just make sure this is the right ticker here. Okay, good. Yep. All right. So Veil, this is the metals. Isn't that what this is? It's like the metals ETF. I can't remember if this is metals or grains. I feel like it's metals, but I can't remember off the top of my head. Anyways, we are opening up pretty strong here in pre-market. So we've got this level of support here. Let me get my horizontal lines out. So we've got this level of support here, and it looks like it could be a possible V bottom. So if I'm on the short side, I want to see clear rejection from. I don't want it to go any higher from where it's at right now. I want it to just drop off and then take out that pivot low. That being said, though, if this thing is going to turn bullish, which it very well could, I want to see this momentum here in pre-market sustain, a test of this pivot high up here at 17 bucks with a break to the upside. So I think this is the more likely scenario. So we'll just want to, keep an eye on that and see whether or not this bullishness continues. But yeah, I mean, overall, I would think we're going to come back up and retest this kind of long-term trend line that's been taking place in this channel here. So this is VALE, and my primary bias is bullish. So all right, guys, let's take one more look here at the S&P futures here before I take off. So like I said, very neutral looking profile here. So we're just kind of consolidating. The only thing that worries me a little bit in terms of higher prices is the fact that the POC is clearly we've got more volume here on the low end than we do the high end. And that's a very nice V top. So my gut is kind of telling me that we haven't given up lower prices yet, but like I said, we've got the Dow and the Russell both grinding higher, and the Nasdaq is looking like it's putting in a V bottom as well. So the S&P here, it may sync up with the other indexes and turn bullish despite the way the profile looks. So again, if we take a look, this is what the Dow is doing currently. And then we have the NASDAQ. Sorry, I'm trying to do YouTube and TikTok at the same time. There's the NASDAQ. So you can see that very nice V bottom. And then the Russell 2000 also looking bullish and grinding higher. So, okay. All right, guys. Well, I am probably going to wrap it up here a little bit early today. Sincerely wish you guys the best. If you want, here's one more quick look at the stocks that I am possibly looking for decent entries on today. So these are all going to be long entries, just so you know. Awesome. All right, guys. Well, hope you have a really good weekend. I will be on Sunday at 8:30 for the weekend wrap, so stay tuned for that. That will be on YouTube, and just my username is the Trade Journals, and I will be going over all the news. I go live every morning, Monday through Friday at 6 a.m. Pacific time, and then on Sunday I do the weekend wrap, which is at 8:30 p.m. Pacific. So And then also, like I said, I am trying to expand onto my other platforms. So you can see these are my other links that we have right here. That's my websites. We've got my YouTube channel, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, and then this is my Twitter handle. Note the spelling is just a smidge different. So, yeah. Again, 6 a.m. Pacific time, Monday through Friday, and then 8:30 on Sunday night for the weekend wrap. So, yeah, thank you for joining us, TC. All right, guys. Good luck today. Trade smart. Like I said, it's gonna be a little bit funky here because we're right at yesterday's high. So we'll see what happens here. If we can hold above yesterday's high, then I'll probably switch to a bullish bias and look for continuation to the upside. So we will see. So thanks, guys. Have a good one.